Okay, so we're here with the lovely folks from the community garden again. And what's your name, ma'am?
Victoria.
Victoria, lovely. Okay.
So would you guys like to plant some lettuce?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to get some seeds for you. Can you each take 3 seeds to put in the middle of your pot?
Get in on that. There you go, nice.
Perfect. That's perfect.
It looks too glossy, you're saying it.
There.
Very good. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is get you just a little bit of dirt to cover it up with. Okay, so can you put that on top? And then I'll get some for you.
Don't spill it.
It's okay, gardening's supposed to be messy.
And there it goes everywhere.
You can put the whole thing on there.
There you
Very
go.
good.
See, that's
Now we'll
using
get
your
some
brain.
for you. Okay, and here's your dirt.
Okay.
Good job.
Look at that.
Okay, so whenever you get home, you want to give it sun and water every day. And whenever it gets about this tall, what you want to do is give it some space to grow. So you want to put it in a bigger pot or in the ground. And then in about 45 days, you're going to get some lettuce like that. And fresh lettuce is always the best. All right, do you have any
Awesome.
questions?
Usually, how long would it take?
So every lettuce is different. So this is, you can see there's different types of lettuces. There's the brown lettuce, and then the dark green lettuce, and the light green lettuce. And this is quick growing lettuce. So it grows up in 45 days ready to eat. But there's other ones that take longer. So it kind of depends on the different types of lettuce that you have.
And I saw right here it needs full sun.
So I asked somebody who's smarter than me about how much sun it needs, and what they told me was that it definitely needs some, but it's okay if it's not in the sun at all.
So it doesn't need to be in the sun like all the time.
Right. Right. It can be shady sometimes, but it does need to get a little bit of sun every day. And different plants are different. If something has a flower or if it has fruit, it generally needs more sun than things that don't.
And do you do this all the time at the farmer's market?
No, I think this is the first time that we're here. This is the community garden's second year in existence. And our leader, Susan Clare, also has an organization, Together Yes. And she is the person who's gone and lobbied for the resources with the town. She got us the land that was conservation land. And the Department of Public Works also supplies water for us. So we're able to have water spouts in the garden to water our plants, which is a huge help.
So,
The town of Norwood.
so she's a real go-getter.
Very much so.
Yes. Yes, we talked to her earlier.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was your question?
Do you need fertilizer?
Oh,
So that's actually a really good question because we're an organic garden, which means that all the extra special nutrients that we use to grow come from compost, which is things like plants that have broken down, and certain types of poop, like cow poop and chicken poop, can be fertilizer that helps things grow. And so we have some extra special dirt that we use in the ground that's there to mix it up and help things have lots of nutrients to grow in the
Would it
soil.
affect the plant that you are growing?
What it does, because for what the seeds do is they take things like nutrients out of the soil, and that's what goes into the plants, and that's why they're good for us to eat. And so by putting nutrients and different types of minerals into the soil, it helps makes the plants grow bigger and better.
So instead of putting chemicals, it would be better just to put something that already has nutrients in instead of putting a chemical in and probably having it not taste as good.
That, and then also it's healthier. So for example, here's a list right here. And there's a group called the Environmental Working Group. And what they do is they look at different types of fruits and vegetables. And whenever places are really, really big, the most economical and fastest way to protect things is to use chemicals, but it's not the best to go into your body. And so what they do is whenever you put chemicals on different fruits and vegetables, some of them absorb them differently. And so if you notice, so the ones that are the worst are things like celery and grapes and apples, things that you usually eat skin of because the skin tends to absorb the most. But things like grapefruit and kiwi and mangoes, things that you peel the skin off of. So if you're gonna buy something that's organic or gonna buy something from the farmer's market, you wanna definitely concentrate on buying these that have the most kind of pesticides, or the pesticides where they're most likely to get into your body. And that these ones, if you're gonna buy ones that aren't organic or from a farmer's market, these are the ones that are the best ones. Apples, they tend to use a lot of pesticides when growing apples, because what happens is that bugs and stuff, like if you go to the community garden, there's diseases and bugs on our fruit because we don't use anything to protect them. That's what organic means, is that we use things like water, or you use good bugs and bad bugs that eat them. So we don't use chemicals. I mean, chemicals are kind of handy for keeping the bugs off, but they're not good for our body.
Could you wash them off? Chemicals?
You can. I don't know enough about that. This does say that if you're going to buy fruits and vegetables that they've used chemicals to grow, that washing them is a good idea. When wash them off with soap and water when you can.
So even soap, it doesn't really seem right.
In what way?
To put it onto something that you're going to be eating.
Well, you wash it off with water. Like your
So
hands.
you don't wash with soap.
Because sometimes you wash your hands with soap and water and then put them in your mouth. So, yeah. Wow, you guys have great questions. Would you like to take this one?
Sure. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Thank
And-
you for asking questions and swapping about it.
Are these beautiful flowers from the garden?
They are, from what I understand, from one of our gardeners' gardens at home. So somebody who's a part of the garden has grown these at her home.
You could have lied.
Sorry, that's not my person's name. Unless I'm in trouble.
Okay, well, great. Thank you very much. I think the music's about to start again.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
So let's go over and check out my friend Steve Marchena playing guitar. Now, I thought I was the hottest guitarist in Norwood. Steve, I knew him 20 some odd years ago from high school. He was living in Walpole and I was living in Westwood. So I moved to Norwood and thought I was the hottest guitarist in Norwood. I recently found out that Steve is actually now living in Norwood. So there goes that title. I'll have to have a talk with him. And I see Steve's girlfriend just stepped in the frame. Maybe we can chat with her later too. respectful truck. So we're here with a friend of mine, Steve Marchena, and he just finished playing at the farmer's market, and his lovely girlfriend. And
Hi.
my daughter has a question. So go ahead, ask Steve your question.
What is the blue thing on the guitar?
That's a tuner, like an electronic tuner. Have you seen like? Do you know what a tuner is for a guitar?
No.
Okay, so you want to tune the strings. Actually, Joe here has a great video where he's talking about how important it is to be in tune. Because even if you're a little bit out of tune, it sounds horrendous, really
See,
bad.
and that's why I like you, Steve, because you're promoting me. I knew if I did an interview with you, somehow you'd promote me in it. Awesome.
Exactly. It's like one hand washes the other. It's a tuner. It's just a way to check my tuning. You could do that all by ear, but sometimes if you're playing, you don't want to do a lot of that because then your audience hears it.
Yeah. Yeah, she asked me, so what's that little thing like a mirror like on a car?
Yes.
I was
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
no, it's a tuner.
Actually, I'll tell you a story about that. So those are getting pretty popular. Joe, have you seen other people using those
Yes, I have.
recently? Yeah, they're really popular because tuners used to be kind of expensive, and then somehow they figured out with the computer type technology that they need how to do it really inexpensively. But in 2000, I want to say it was 2009, we were in Germany, and one of the guitarists that I was playing with, he had an older version. It's just the one he had at the time. I think it cost him over $100 to have that little blue thing on there. And the people in Germany says, "Why is there a GPS on your guitar?"
So he could find his way home from Germany. Okay, so anyway, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
The short version of the story is, I guess until I was 15 years old, I was always getting really into something. Like whether it was Dungeons and Dragons or computers or whatever it was, I'd get I got so much into it that in third grade I was banned from doing anything that had anything to do with Star Wars in school. They told me I couldn't. Everybody else could do Star Wars in our class, but because I would do nothing but Star Wars, they said you can't do it. So everything I got into, I got really, really into. And then when I got into the guitar, it's pretty much stayed really into it, and that's been like about 27 years. You can pretty much tell you the last 27 years of my life being like, I played a lot of guitar. That's pretty much it.
Yeah? Yes. And so you have some ties with some of the medical facilities here in Norwood?
Yes, yeah, I do. I don't know what I don't know if the show is either G or PG or what I can tell you. I'll tell you this.
Let's kind of split the difference and make it PG.
Okay, we're making it PG. So I was living a rock and roll lifestyle with all the
bells and whistles.
Bells and whistles, yes. And one thing I'd say, I guess, you know what probably word I could use is party. Like rock and rollers like to party. I don't want to say more than other. This is the difference. Probably most people like to party on some level, but then like normal people might do it like once a month or something, and then rock and rollers wind up doing it like first thing when they wake up in the morning throughout the day. Anyway, I was not taking good care of my health at all. You hear that bell? That bell that's the dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yes, the bell tolls for you.
The bell tolls for me. But make a long story short, I got sick, and my internal organs were
rebelling.
Well, they were really infected. So I went to the hospital, and there's a couple elements to that. One is they gave me stuff that should have fought the infection. But what I found out is if you don't take good care of your immune system, and then you get really sick, and the hospital's like, this should help, what they're doing might not help. And that was my case, and the infection just kept on getting worse and worse. The other funny thing about the Norwood Hospital is that I was a pretty heavy cigarette smoker from ages like, I'm going to say 13 to 40, something like that. It's a long time. And when I was there, anytime I got to the hospital before, it was like an ear infection. I'd be waiting, and I'd be like, I'll go outside, smoke a cigarette, and come back in. Anyway, from the moment I got there, they gave me something, and they said, okay, sit here. And I'm like, I'm going to go outside for a cigarette. And they're like, no. And actually, Terry could probably tell you this part better than I could. Did I rebel against their rules?
You didn't like it very much at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a singular goal in your mind, which was to get outside for a cigarette. They were kind of interested in saving his life,
Yeah.
so they wouldn't let him do that.
But
That
I was
the last
mad.
cigarette you ever had?
That was
ever,
the last
ever?
cigarette I ever had. Was
Darn
I
hospitals
I
trying to
came
help
over,
you.
I could sit
Yeah,
next
yeah.
to Steve.
But I'll tell you one thing is if somebody's trying to quit smoking cigarettes, it's not easy. It's ridiculous. I mean, actually, I'll go ahead and I'll go on full disclosure here. So, they gave me an addiction specialist, and I told him, yeah, I do. This is my life. And he's like, whoa, what are you doing? Anyway, he got me on these nicotine. I'm not trying to make anybody money with this or whatever, but it's nicotine. But I'm not smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, long story short, I was in there and they said, we have to help you now. You're not leaving on the tour that you're supposed to leave on. And I was pretty upset about that. My colon actually broke open, so they had to do emergency surgery. And then I had medical equipment attached to me for like 3 months after that.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures and stuff.
Yeah, I hated that. They had me on a lot of antipsychotic. I think the reason the antipsychotic was because, like, when they took me
Because you
off
really
cigarettes-
wanted that cigarette.
Oh my God! I think it was one of the biggest problems that I had there was that I want to go outside for a cigarette, but they let me play guitar the whole time. That's something I want to say about the Norwood Hospital. Is awesome. Is where I couldn't have the cigarette, they let me play the guitar. So thank you, Norwood Hospital, because I'm alive because of you. I appreciate that. Special thanks to my addiction specialist. I didn't understand what you were trying to do for me, but it worked out. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty convenient having a hospital right here in town.
Yes. Oh yeah. It was.
So
I needed it.
people, concerned people going to visit you and stuff
exactly.
don't have to drive all the way, in town or something,
Yeah.
just to visit you.
You probably don't want to let this get around, but again, I was badly behaved. Badly behaved. And
Oh yeah, this is just between me and you.
Right, exactly. I said, don't tell anyone. But actually, I got them. Terry actually stayed in the hospital for the first 13 days.
She's been slowly inching
I'm
into the
slowly, I
frame.
realized
They
he's
gave
moving
her
the camera
they gave her
back
a
and
bed,
forth.
Yeah.
in my room, just because I think
Yes, they did.
my behavior was better when she was there.
Well, I
and I had a
basically told them I
guitar.
wasn't going to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said, well, you can't
nuts.
stay here. I said, okay, well, I'll just kind of sleep on the sidewalk outside. Yeah, so they let me stay, which was good.
What a gal.
Oh yeah, I really, I liked her before, but then I liked her even more. After
Aw.
that. Yeah, I know.
This is turning into a love story.
I'll tell you something else. Other than love for friends and family and music, after that ordeal, I genuinely feel like I'm a different person, and I look at the Steve that was around for 40 years, and I'm like, reckless, you're doing dumb stuff. And there's a lot of dumb stuff I did that I had no consequences from. But then I found out that when the consequences do show up, they can be overwhelming. So I appreciate life in a way that I didn't before. And just that one thing, going from really reckless to appreciating life, it makes me feel like a different person.
The music is just at the base of everything.
Yeah.
After his third surgery, so yes, he's had 3 surgeries, his eyes weren't even open. I mean, he was barely conscious. And he just said, I need my guitar. Bring me my guitar. He's texting me, actually. They wouldn't even allow me into the recovery room yet. He's texting me, I need my guitar. And I went in and they said, we don't allow musical instruments in the recovery room. And so he kept asking. Finally, I just said to them, you should just let him hold it. Because he's not gonna believe that he's alive. He's gonna think that he's just still, in a dream or just still in. So, but once he gets that in his hands, and so they said, okay, he can hold it, but he can't play it.
But then I just played it quietly.
Strummed it.
Yeah, it was all right.
So, yeah.
I'll say something else, since this is going to get out there. This may not be the most popular thing for everybody, but I'm gonna tell you this is my opinion. Any chemical, any substance, including this the nicotine. Where did I include these nicotines here? Including coffee, including alcohol, including everything. None of that helps anybody play music in time. Maybe it makes them feel creative or something. But you know what? When you're playing music, playing in time is really important. And playing in time is not this thing that you get to and you're like, oh yeah, now I play in time all the time. There's a lot of subtlety to that when you get a band really cooking and everybody's like locking in. Like chemicals don't help anybody lock in. They might help them, might make them feel better about the fact they're not locking in. But I'll tell you that's one thing about like just getting more sober that just I see all that more clearly now.
Words to live by.
Yeah. Tell that to me 2 years ago. I'd tell you what to do. You know what I mean? That's a nice camera. It's too bad we can't get the camera on the camera.
If somebody had a mirror, we could.
Let's do that. Let's go.
So yeah, 2 years ago, you never would have told him that he was going to be waking up in the morning and eating a nice salad,
Oh yeah.
like with your wonderful tomatoes in it.
Yeah, it probably goes on and on. Like within the mirror, there's the camera, and there's the mirror. And there's an artist named Escher. You know what I'm talking about?
Course.
So like
Crazy stairs.
Right, the stairs keep on going down and down and down and down and down and down, but then they're at the top again. Yeah, so this is like Escher.
Wow, that's pretty trippy.
I like. Wait, I gotta see what that looks like.
Okay. Oh yeah, sure.
Right. And then within. I gotta angle it.
I don't know how to like.
Yeah.
Is that?
That's pretty cool.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's. Well,
We'll check it out.
It's a nice camera.
We'll check it out on playback.
I like the way that you can hold the camera too. That's like, you can just have it always ready to go.
Ready to go.
There's
That's
something
me.
happening with like newspapers. I think it was like Chicago. Was it the Chicago Tribune or somebody? They like fired all their photographers. Did you know about that?
No.
Because I think what they decided is that the reporters have to do the photography now, like with iPhones.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
I think it's because the iPhones got pretty high tech,
Yep.
and they said we can save a lot of money.
Sure.
You know. Anyway, I don't want anybody to lose their job, but I'll say that that's a very cool device.
It is a very cool device. Yes. So no more Jimmy Olsen's running around taking pictures.
Not for that newspaper in Chicago. Jimmy Olsen is like bonded with Lois Lane, I guess,
Yeah.
almost. You know, it's like reporter, photographer,
Right.
person. How's the book, Max?
But okay.
Good.
Yes, my son's reading a book while all this is going. This is my daughter's butt, and my son reading a book. Okay, but anyway, well, any last things you want to say?
Practice. Yeah. I'll tell you this, and I guarantee it, is that music, ultimately, what music is the most wholesome thing that you can find in the world. And it's too bad that sometimes that it gets mixed up with stuff that is not good for your health. So there you go.
What is good for your health is the delicious salad that we had with your wonderful tomatoes from the garden.
Oh, the tomatoes
Yes.
were awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, also,
I'm thinking of maybe next year I'll have a table here at the farmers market.
Please do. Oh, also, I should say, you know, while we're here, let's promote your new CD. It's out.
Yes.
Starless is awesome,
Oh,
awesome. And then also we have the Tal's Top show on the 31st. I don't know when this internet airs or when
Yeah,
this-
maybe in time, maybe not.
maybe not. But look out for
But you can
us.
still promote the whole Tal's Top.
Right, Tal's Top doing
experience.
the Zeppelin acoustic thing.
Yep.
Terry playing all these flute solos and everything.
Yes,
I'm
it
enjoying it.
rocks.
So I'm wondering, will this be edited, or we just take this at? How do you do it?
I don't know, probably just straight like this.
Yeah, that's
Who
cool.
cares?
The internet is pretty awesome. Hi, internet.
Yay!